Welcome, everybody, to the latest episode of N1 from the End Zone with your favorite host, King N.P.V. You know that's me, baby. And on today's episode, I'm going to be giving you my thoughts and my reactions to NFL Week 1. And to actually start off today's conversation, it will be today's game, actually, which was the Vikings versus the Chicago Bears. That was one hell of a game. The Bears dominated the first half. Caleb Williams came out looking pretty well. He came out firing on all cylinders. I think he completed his first 10 passes. He threw for, he threw for 210 yards, 21 to 35 attempts, averaging 6 yards per attempt, and he got a touchdown. Now, let's be honest. The Bears defense did enough to hold the Vikings and a rookie quarterback, because J.J. McCarthy is essentially a rookie, to the bare minimum up until the fourth quarter. The Bears were dominating. However, as the game went on, Brian Flores and the Minnesota defense made the adjustments. Caleb couldn't adjust, couldn't make the proper adjustments to get the offense going for the Chicago Bears with Ben Johnson. Yes, the Bears offense looked way better this year under Ben Johnson than it did at any point last year with Eberflus as the head coach. However, there's still ways to go for the Chicago Bears, for Caleb Williams, and I think it's safe to say they can hit the panic button over in Chicago when it comes to Caleb Williams. When it comes to J.J. McCarthy, first actual real NFL game, started off not too well. I'm going to be completely honest. The Minnesota offense was lackluster through the majority of the game. But when it mattered the most in the fourth quarter, J.J. McCarthy came guns a-blazing, and basically came up clutch when it mattered and won the game. He only completed 13 of his 28 pass attempts for 143 yards. He had 2 touchdowns and an interception, which was a pick six. Again, not a good game for the rookie. Not a good game for the rookie at all. The offense was stagnant. The run game wasn't there, even though they're using one of our former running backs, Bang Bang Niner Game, Jordan Mason. But it just, I think it's going to get better. It was JJ's first game. I think he needs to see it. When everything slowed down after getting some reps in, being in there a bit, he started to get some fluidity. So I think this is a good first step for the Minnesota Vikings, for J.J. McCarthy, and for what they're trying to build here in the future. I just think it's not necessarily that great for Caleb Williams, who has, in my opinion, lost a lot of the shine that he had when he first came into the league a few years ago. Or not a few years ago, last year. There was a story that came out written by Tyler Dunn, basically just documenting the process of how Chicago went about getting Caleb Williams and not really doing their due diligence, and interviewing all the other potential prospects that they had in the draft last year, like Jaden Daniels, Drake May. Who else did they have? I think those were just the two most notable names right now in last year's draft, if I'm not mistaken. But they didn't do it. They didn't interview anybody. They were set. They were set on Caleb, and right now it looks like Caleb might not be the guy. And from everything that's come out, especially Ben Johnson's own comments, it's going to be a long season for Chicago. That's why I didn't have them winning the division. I had them, I think, finishing 4th behind the Detroit Lions, if I'm not mistaken, who I also said were going to be regressing. Now, the next game I kind of want to talk about is that barn burner of a game between the Bills and the Ravens, ladies and gentlemen. That game was crazy. The Bills were down at one point, 40-25, if I'm not mistaken. And they came back and they won 41-40. Now, I know a lot of people are going to be freaking out. Oh, my God. What is John Harbaugh doing with the Ravens? What's going on with that Ravens defense? Guys, I'm just here to tell you, everybody just relax. The thing about the Ravens defense is every year since every year for the last, I want to say since Lamar's been there, if I'm not mistaken, since Lamar's rookie year, they always have started off the season losing games that they should have won, that they had a tremendous lead in, and just blowing it. I can name the Steelers game last year. I think they lost against the Browns last year after having a healthy lead. There's been multiple occasions over the last 2 or 3 years where they've started off the season losing games that they were up big by, and ultimately just their defense fell apart in the fourth quarter. As the season progresses, however, the Ravens defense, the team as a whole, locks in, if that makes sense. They lock in, they handle their business, and these mistakes that we see early on in the season, like blowing a 15-point lead, don't happen later on in the regular season or in the playoffs usually. Now, I'm not saying they're going to win when they make it into the playoffs and win the Super Bowl. I think it's going to be the Kansas City Chiefs that ultimately vanquishes these two foes, whoever it's going to be. But in my honest opinion, at this point, I think it's going to be Buffalo. Buffalo has Josh Allen. I feel like he's turned it up into another level. He's just playing phenomenal. The game yesterday, he put the team on his back, carried them, and down. There was multiple occasions where I was watching the game. I'm like, dude, there's no way. Like, this is bad for the Bills. That was my honest take. When I was watching the game, I thought this was bad for the Bills, the way that they were playing yesterday. And then we got into the fourth quarter, and everything just seemed to click in Buffalo's favor. They scored 22 points in that fourth quarter to the Ravens 6 points. They came back. They overcame that 15-point deficit. Lamar Jackson threw for 209 yards, 2 touchdowns. He ran for 70 yards and a touchdown. So Lamar Jackson did what Lamar Jackson did. He had a total of 279 yards, 3 touchdowns. Lamar having a Lamar Jackson game. Josh Allen going 33 of 46, 394 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks, and running for another 30 yards and 2 touchdowns. Again, putting the team on his back. What a hell of a game. I had the Ravens finishing as the number 1 seed, but literally after watching that game, and because now Buffalo has the tiebreaker over the Baltimore Ravens, I think it flips now. I think Buffalo gets the 1 seed. I think Baltimore gets the 2 seed, and I still think the Chiefs get the 3 seed. But it's going to be an interesting season, and that game, honestly, in my eyes, was a classic from beginning to end. Moving on to another game that I predicted, that I was confident in, that I knew was going to ultimately happen the way that it happened. In that game is the Green Bay Packers 27-13 victory over the Detroit Lions. Guys, that Lions offense looked pathetic. Let's be honest. Losing Ben Johnson, and this is exactly what I've been saying the entire time, the entire offseason. Losing Ben Johnson is going to cost the Lions in the same way as it cost the Eagles. The only difference, in my honest opinion, is that the Eagles had a much deeper roster. The Eagles just had a much deeper roster than the Lions, in my personal opinion. And I think the Eagles have a much better quarterback in Jalen Hurts than Jared Goff. Much better leadership organizationally from top down than the Detroit Lions, who have historically been a laughing stock. Dan Campbell, I'm not saying he's a bad head coach. He could be a great head coach. However, he is not an offensive play caller. He is not a defensive play caller. He manages the team as a whole. He is responsible for the culture. He's responsible for building that team into what it has ultimately become. With that being said, he needs to, it's granted, this is an overreaction, but he might ultimately need to move off of his offensive coordinator and go outside and bring in somebody like Bobby Slowick, the former offensive coordinator for the Houston Texans, who I think parted ways this year And I think he might be looking for a job. I think he would be a perfect fit for the Detroit Lions, who have lost Ben Johnson, especially because he comes from the Kyle Shanahan Kyle Shanahan system, right? But yeah, Detroit, not it. Jared Goff going 31, completing 31 to 39 passes. He completed a lot of his passes. However, he only threw for 225 yards. That means he was doing a lot of dinking and dunking. He had 1 touchdown, 1 interception. They couldn't run the ball. They couldn't do anything offensively. The fact that they got 13 points, in my honest opinion, was a miracle. Because I think I think they only realistically should have scored 6 points the entirety of the game. The Packers, what did I tell you about that defense? They are legit. Micah Parsons is going to live up to that contract for sure. Whether you like it or not, Micah Parsons with the Green Bay Packers is going to be worth every single penny of that. I think it's a $144 million deal that he signed with them. Every single penny. Worth it. He wouldn't have been worth it with the Dallas Cowboys. That the way that team is built, the way that team is ran, the way that the culture is with the Dallas Cowboys, he was never going to live up to that contract, and we were going to talk about Micah Parsons as an overrated player because the Cowboys would have never have done anything. Now that he's on the Packers, he is a legitimate threat. He's going to make an NFC Championship game this year, in my honest opinion. I think it's going to be the Packers-Niners for the NFC Championship game, and the Packers are going to have one hell of a season, offensively and defensively. Their offense, they have an amazing play caller in Matt LaFleur. Obviously, they got a top 10, top 15 quarterback in Jordan Love. They have a great plethora of wide receivers, and they have Josh Jacobs toting the ball in the backfield. Come on, they're a fully built team, fully built roster, and that. The Green Bay Packers are legit. I have them winning. I have the Packers winning the division. I think the Lions finish second or third, either behind Minnesota or ahead of them. But it's going to be a tightly contested contest between the Lions and the Vikings for that second spot. Green Bay is back. Green Bay is going to win the division. Green Bay owns the North, in my honest opinion. Don't be surprised if Jordan Love has an MVP caliber season, guys. Now, let's move on to a game that I got utterly wrong in my predictions this week. And that is the Miami Dolphins losing 33-8 to the Indiana Jones-led Indianapolis Colts. Oh my God, they're calling Daniel Jones Indiana Jones. I can't believe this is what happens, Miami, when you allow yourself to be blown out by the likes of Daniel Jones. How in the hell does that happen? Granted, your defense didn't do anything to stop him. It's Daniel Jones. Y'all should have had a field day sacking him, getting interceptions, confusing the fuck out of him. We saw his time in New York. We saw what he was with the New York Giants. He wasn't good. Granted, after he got released, he went to Minnesota, but he didn't play for the Vikings. He sat on the bench. He might have learned a few things off Sam Darnold or Kevin O'Connell, who has done a tremendous job in Minnesota, basically revitalizing or reviving quarterbacks' careers and confidence. Look at Kirk Cousins. Look at Sam Darnold. Look at what he's doing with J.J. McCarthy. And maybe that magic rubbed off on Daniel Jones, because there's no way to explain how Daniel Jones looked that fucking great. And what was that, Tua? For the love of God, bro, if you're going to be going out there with the concussion history that you have, and you're going to be losing to teams led by the likes of Daniel Jones, brother, I hate to say it, man. It might be time to consider retirement, dog. Like, I hate to say it, brother. You ain't winning no Super Bowls in Miami. You'll be lucky if you sniff the playoffs again. The vibes are way off and way down in Miami. And I thought it was ridiculous that the Colts were being favored 1.5 in the game. I was like, why are they being favored? The Dolphins have a plethora of weapons that are still healthy. They have literally Tua, Tyreek, Jalen Waddle, Devin Achane. They're all still healthy. They're all still playing. They're all out there. They got their starting quarterback Tua out there. Too. They brought in Minka Fitzpatrick. I granted that defense has a lot of new talent on it, right? But still, the offense should have put up way more than fucking 8 points. Tua went 14 to 23 for 114 yards, averaging 5 yards a pass. That's sad. 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. We got to see Zach Wilson come out there. That's how bad this game was, ladies and gentlemen. It was so bad they put Zach Wilson out there, who actually still didn't do anything. He had 5 completions on 8 attempts for 32 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. Then didn't do nothing. And look at what Daniel Jones did. 22 of 29, 272 yards, 1 touchdown, averaging 9.4 yards per attempt. That's when do you see Daniel Jones play like that? They only sacked him once, granted, but still you have better talent in Miami, and for you to lose 33-8 in the season opener when it's still warm outside, man, you guys got to contemplate a lot of life choices, a lot of life decisions, because that's unacceptable in my book, man. That's unacceptable. Heads are going to roll this year in Miami. I hate to say it, but heads are going to roll in Miami, and I like Mike McDaniel. I thought Mike McDaniel fresh breath of fresh felt like fresh breath air. I don't know how to say it. I'm stuttering. But Mike McDaniel felt like he could have been the guy. I still think he might be. I just don't think Tua is. And I think this whole, Tyreek Hill needs to regain the trust of people, this and that. That relationship isn't there. That relationship is gone. Number one. Number two, Tua, you got paid. You are where you are because of the efforts and likes of Tyreek Hill. If it wasn't for Tyreek Hill, you wouldn't have gotten paid. They probably would have moved off of you, and things wouldn't have ended up being the way that they've ended up. And in all honesty, they'll probably move off of you in the next couple of years if things keep trending in this direction, because I just do not think Miami is going to be able to recover from this, to be completely honest with y'all. And with that being said, let's move on to man. That's so sad. Let's move on to another game that was a revenge game for 2 players, not just one. But it was a revenge game for Aaron Rodgers and Justin Fields. Because Aaron Rodgers used to play for the New York Jets and Justin Fields used to play for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And the one thing that stood out for me in this game is how great Justin Fields looked out there against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I didn't see at any point in his career in Chicago, even last year in Pittsburgh, Justin Fields looking as poised, as confident, as reliable in the pocket as I've seen him yesterday. Or was it yesterday? Yesterday against the Steelers. Granted, they lost the game, but what a hell of a game. They led the majority of the game. If it wasn't for a fumble during a kickoff return, I think the Jets honestly won this game. Aaron Rodgers turning back the clock, looking like the Aaron Rodgers of old, playing like the Aaron Rodgers of old, coming up clutch. Overall, just an exciting game from beginning to end. What was it? Aaron Rodgers had 22 pass attempts, or completed 22 of 30 pass attempts, 244 yards, averaging 8 yards per catch, and he got 4 touchdowns with no picks. Turning back the clock, doing what Aaron Rodgers does best, taking care of the football, scoring touchdowns like like the future Hall of Famer is supposed to do. Now, if Aaron Rodgers can continue to play the way that he played today, Pittsburgh Steelers are going to be a problem in the North. Pittsburgh Steelers are going to be competing for that division title. And right now, the Bengals and the Steelers are 1-0 in that division. And the Steelers haven't had a quarterback capable of doing what Aaron Rodgers just did since Big Ben was there. And even when Big Ben was there, he wasn't putting up numbers like that in years, like 2 or 3, maybe 4 years before he actually retired. It had been a while for Big Ben too. So the fact that Aaron Rodgers looked this good when he never looked this good for the Jets in his 2 years there, and we hadn't seen him look like this in a while, it stood out to me. Good for you, Aaron. Justin Fields had completed 16 of 22 pass attempts, going for 218 yards and a touchdown. However, he rushed 12 times for 48 yards and scored 2 rushing touchdowns. So his pocket presence since he's left Chicago, since he was with the Steelers last year, has gotten way better. He's mobile. He's not afraid to leave the pocket when he needs to. He's not afraid to stay in the pocket as long as he needs to and try to find something. Oh, my God. It felt like it literally felt to me like Lamar Jackson light. Like, he has that potential, and if Aaron Glenn and the New York Jets can just hone in on that, they're going to have their quarterback for the future. They won't need to draft anybody. They'll have their guy in Justin Fields. Now, I don't know if Justin Fields is going to win a division. I don't know if Justin Fields is going to win a Super Bowl or anything like that. First things first, win some games, have a winning record, and maybe make a playoffs. But Justin Fields looks like a competent, capable starting quarterback in the league, and this is the best he's ever looked in his career. And I'm just excited. Both teams had a phenomenal showing. Aaron Rodgers ultimately winning his revenge game. But in reality, I felt like the Jets should have won it. And if it wasn't for that botched kickoff return, the Jets would have won that game. And we would have all been shocked because I don't think any of us saw the Jets, especially Justin Fields, doing what they did against the Steelers yesterday. So those are my thoughts on that game. And to wrap up this episode, we're going to talk about my favorite fucking team, the team that I grew up loving, my San Francisco 49ers, beating the Seattle Seahawks 17-13. Guys, oh my God, this game gave me headaches. This game, if you haven't checked out, go to Shady Mob Productions and check out the last live stream that we did, and go to the last 2 minutes of the 4-hour live stream. You don't even got to watch the entire thing. Just go to the last 2 minutes. You are going to see me lose my shit when Jake Moody missed the second field goal. I know what you guys said. He got blocked. That man is like gangrene, okay? He is an infection. He is like mold on an apple. If you have one rotten thing, if you got one thing that infects everything, you got to cut it. You got to cut it from the system or else everything's going to get infected. And that is what Jake Moody is. That is exactly what Jake Moody is, ladies and gentlemen. He is the cancer of the 49ers that just affects all of the special teams in general for the 49ers. He missed that easy-ass 27-yard field goal that should have put us up 10-7 at that time. Easy-ass field goal. Misses it. When he missed that, you should have seen my reaction there. I lost my shit. I literally had said, here comes Jake Moody. He's about to miss the field goal. I was not confident. 27. His field goal range is 10 yards. He needs to be cut. Why is he on the team? In every single preseason, before the season even starts, he has missed a kick. And we all think, oh, he's going to get better. He's got the confidence. Ship sailed for me game 1. I think it was last year, against Minnesota, when he had a couple of kicks that we needed him to hit, and he missed them. I don't think it was last year. I think it was a couple years ago. Either way, Jake Moody just needs to be gone. I don't know why they keep him, why they've kept him. Do you guys understand why they've kept him? And Kyle doubling down yesterday after the game, Jake Moody is for sure our cooker. No, he should not be. He should not be, because now when he misses a kick, like I said, it's an infection. It's like gangrene. It spreads, because literally the next kick, the offensive line, you could blame it that they found the gap and they fucking were able to get there and block it. But it's like gangrene. It's spreading. If it's one thing, it's another. It's just going to get worse and worse and worse until we get to, let's say we're able to overcome everything like we were able to do in the Super Bowl when he missed the kick in the Super Bowl. Okay? Like, oh my God, I can just go on and on about this man missing kicks. Jake Moody should not be on the 49ers. I have said it. That's my last take on Jake Moody right now, because I'll go off. Jake Moody on the Niners, should not be on the team anymore. Overall, though, Niners defense is back, baby. That's a Bob Saleh defense. You know why? Because in the fourth quarter, so last year, our team offensively, we were good through 3 quarters. We had lead, but in the fourth quarter, we were not able to close out games. Yesterday against Seattle, fourth quarter, up by 4 points, needed the defense to come up with a big stop, came up with a fumble recovery. Nick Bosa gets the ball back. Niners win. That's a Bob Saleh defense. That's what we've been missing. We can overcome a lot. If Brock Purdy missing George, Brandon, literally an injured CMC dealing with calf issues, and we're relying on him, Brian Robinson, a bunch of no-names going out there, doing his thing, finding a way to win, overcoming our kicking woes, and still finding Tonjes in the end zone for a touchdown to win that game. If this was last year, I don't think we win this game. I think he scores a touchdown, and then the Seahawks come driving right back up the field, and they score a touchdown, and they win that game. This is the beginning of something for the Niners, and hopefully they can capitalize on it. And if they really want to compete, I've said it many times, Super Bowl champions usually have Hall of Fame kickers. Peyton Manning had Adam Vinatieri. Tom Brady had not Gostowski. Yeah, Gostowski. Tom Brady had Gostowski. Okay? Gostowski is a Hall of Fame kicker, in my honest opinion. He's won like 3 or 4 Super Bowls. Patrick Mahomes, Harrison Buckner. Eagles got Jake Elliott. Jake Elliott's still a good kicker. Niners need a good kicker. Just saying. That being said, guys, we have reached the end of this episode. Guys, I really do appreciate all of you for joining me on this latest episode of N1 from the End Zone. Please don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you can be notified when the latest content drops. That being said, always remember, desire is power. If you desire to be great, you have the power to be great. Thank you for watching the latest episode. I'll see you next time, and don't forget to check out the QR code, check out Shady Mob Productions, check out N1 from the End Zone, which is the channel you're currently on. Check out ANA Radio with Alex and Manangelo for financial news. Check out Port City Uncensored for Stockton politics in California. And check out Smacks TTV for your gaming stuff. I love you all. I will see y'all next time.
Guys, have you heard? Nelson, tell the people.
Shady Mob Productions is an official affiliate of HBO Max. Click on the link in the description and sign up so you can watch hit series like Hard Knocks, Game of Thrones, and House of Dragons.
Also, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you can be notified when the latest content drops.
You're watching the latest episode of N1 from the End Zone. Please click on that subscribe button so you can be notified when the latest content drops. Now, let's kick it.
Guys, join me, Alex the Man Angelov, and check out ANA Radio, where we're going to be talking about the latest and greatest financial news, investments, banking, and personal finance. Check out the channel, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you can be notified when the latest content drops.
If you're in the San Francisco Bay Area and want the best cut of your life, go check out Headspins Barbershop, located in South San Francisco, the official barbershop of N1 from the End Zone.
Guys, you're watching a Shady Mob production. Make sure to follow the Shady Mob podcast, where we break down all the latest content and talk about life. Please please make sure to share, like, comment, and subscribe so you can be notified when the latest content drops.